What's up guys, it's Criddle here from the AnimeBallZ team with another This Is. This time, this is a massive throwback to when I was like 3 or 4 years old watching Agro's Cartoon Connection on Channel 7, which is only really an applicable thing if you live in Australia. That won't make sense to anyone else. Agro was this little puppet that was voiced and he made really vulgar comments to his female co-host, and eventually the show got cancelled because of how sexually overt the series became. But anyway, that aside, this time, this is Samurai Pizza Cats. And so we might as well get started. Let's get like this series and be completely
off the tracks.
So Samurai Pizza Cats follows the story of 3 cats living in an anthropomorphic Tokyo-esque town called Little Tokyo in the English dub of the series. Now, I will mention straight away, the English dub of this series and the original Japanese version of this show are 2 completely different shows. Samurai Pizza Cats was one of the very early anime adaptations that we got over in the Western world, and it was a series that was dubbed in a way where they didn't have original transcripts to work with. They just dubbed based on what happened in the episode. So the humour is crude and very much dad jokes, which I absolutely love. And the series is very much ingrained in pop culture. There are mentions to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other shows of that nature, which really cement this series in the late 80s, early 90s. But it does follow the story of Speedy Ceviche. He's the leader of the bunch, a heck of a fighter, packs a hell of a punch. Polly Esther, who is the female member of the group, Speedy being the leader, and Guido Anchovy being this, cool cat kind of character. And yes, the cat is an intentional pun. He's sort of this laid-back sort of character. Well, Speedy seems to be the influence from Meowth in the Pokemon series. You can really see the parallels between Meowth and Speedy, and that was a really horrible rendition of sort of a Meowth. It was closer to Speedy, but you can see how the 2 voices are very similar, and you can see why Meowth in the Pokemon anime sounds like that. It's a very, very similar voice. But these 3 cool cats are defending Little Tokyo as the Samurai Pizza Cats. They work in a pizza joint most of the time, but when trouble comes along, they launch into action and get fired out of a massive gun on top of their restaurant to go and fight giant mechanized robots type thing. Mecha robots that are the villain of the week, the monster of the week, essentially a la Power Rangers, except that the Samurai Pizza Cats don't have their own giant robot to fight it with. Now, the Big Cheese is the villain of the series. He is a rat, and it's, his intentions aren't really clear. Obviously the English dub is very different to the original Japanese series, so the intentions that are in the English dub and brought across, being a villain of the week series as it is, make it very, very difficult to understand, very blurred lines for this series. But enough about the flimsy plot and the characters of the series. Let's find out a bit more about what's behind those characters as we look at
The good, the bad, and the dubbers.
Now, unfortunately, with this series being set in, well, more to the point where it was brought out in the time frame that it was brought out in the late 80s and early 90s, that sort of time mesh, anime wasn't that big over here. We didn't get Dragon Ball till a lot later than Japan had it and all that sort of stuff. So the voice actors for this series have not appeared in any other anime. However, Speedy Ceviche is voiced by Rick Jones. I really didn't do any research into the other voices that these characters did because none of them were anime voice actors, so I decided to let it go. Polly Esther is voiced by Sonia Ball. Fits in, ball of twine, that sort of thing. And Guido is voiced by Terrence Scammell, who is actually the narrator of the series as well. The Little Tokyo, the town where stuff happens. He also voices the cool cat character as well. So, he's got the widest vocal range and has the most parts in the series. But yeah, these voice actors are not ones that really sit in the umbrella of voice actors we know a lot about. They really tie in more, they're more akin to the Ruby voice actors where you don't really know what they've done before this series. And a lot of the shows after that are really early 90s shows that no one will even know of, even if I say them, because I don't know most of them myself. So to go along with the flimsy story, the flimsy characters, and the flimsy anime voice acting resumes that these characters have, I'm going to give my flimsy review of this series. So from a nostalgia standpoint, this series is amazing and is a perfect 9 out of 9. But the repetitive nature of the story and the fact that it is an episodic series with a very, very flimsy overhanging plot, which is pretty much non-existent 99% of the time, the horrible puns for this series and everything that comes with it, I'm forced to give this series a 6 out of 9. That is purely bringing it up because of the nostalgia element. I don't know how many people that are new to the series will be able to truly appreciate the fact of getting up at sort of 6:37 in the morning to watch this show on, you know, just a regular run TV series and get it interrupted all the time by Ranger Stacy and Aggro and all that sort of stuff. And I'm amazed I remember Ranger Stacy. I think she's still on Totally Wild, if that show even exists anymore. Anyway, enough of that getting off the topic. I'm Criddle, this has been Samurai Pizza Cats on another This Is, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.